Makeovers from SEO expert Kathy Alice Brown. She's in the Silicon Valley, and we're here with Candace Smith. She's a photographer, and her website is CandaceSmithPhotography.com. Candace, would you like to tell us a little bit about your website?
Hi, so I'm in the process of overhauling my brand. I'm a photographer specializing in family portraiture and women entrepreneurial branding. So this is the beginning phases of what my website will be, but I'm looking to better showcase my work and the storytelling that I actually provide for my clients.
Cool.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay. And so as we were just discussing, I know that you have a website that's out there, and as we discussed, it's not really reflective of you, your brand, but it's also, one of the things I really noticed is that Google would have a lot of trouble understanding your website. Just to mention it to the audience, the pictures are actually hidden by JavaScript, so Google may not even be able to see the pictures. And there's just not a lot of text there to kind of really showcase what you're trying to say. And I would say that your new website, which is still, of course, in staging and not quite live yet, is much better from just a pure technical perspective.
Okay, good.
Okay, so I'm going to just, we're going to have a couple things to talk about and share about your new staged website. So I'm just going to do what's a screen share, and hopefully it will figure out. So give me a minute while I figure out how to make this happen. I think this is the window I want. Let's see. Let's make sure. So do you see the little child on the, what do you guys see? Do you see the child with the pink jacket, or?
No.
Okay, that was the wrong screen. Okay, so let's stop. And let me see if I can find another where it is. This is my problem with having too many windows. Yeah, it's not. I'm having trouble finding it. All right. Well, I think it's because I'm using a different browser. Let me just take a moment and fix all that. So this will take me a moment, but hopefully then we'll be good to go.
Candace, where are you located?
I'm based in Oakland, California.
Okay. And are you only doing Oakland photography, or do you cover a region?
Yeah, it's basically the San Francisco Bay Area, so all around the Bay, and I also travel to New York a couple times a year, so I have a couple clients I work with regularly there as well.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try this again. And actually, Gina is kind of leading into a question I'm going to be asking, so that's great. So yeah, I was going to ask about, your target market. Is it, and hopefully you see a picture of a woman with leaves around her, or yeah, I guess those are leaves. So this is the new stage site.
Yep.
There's some really nice things about it, and yeah, that was actually going to be one of my questions. Is are you mainly serving the San Francisco Bay Area, and would you want to come up for searches such as photographer Oakland, or family photographer Oakland, or even other nearby areas? It sounds like you'll travel to wherever, but
yeah. Well, I'm actually working within this whole brand transitioning and finding myself piece. I've created another project called the Essence Project, which is a collaborative effort that that I will be traveling with nationwide. So I've got various facilitators and healers that I'm working with to help women capture their authentic essence.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the bigger element of what this website is leading into.
Okay, and then I just clicked over to your About page.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is, so I understand this is not going to be your only audience, but as an SEO, one of the things I can tell you is that you definitely want to come up for your local market, your Oakland, maybe San Francisco market. And you need to give Google clues about that. So I was looking for that. I'm like, okay, so where is she located? Where is she based? And when I click on this acquire link, it kind of does this opening thing to this contact form,
Right.
which is kind of cool, but when I'm having trouble, I couldn't find this in the source, the actual you're on Grand Avenue, by the way, great area, by the way,
Thank you.
Oakland, California, and this, so the users can find this, but I'm not sure this is going to be easily found by Google, and so we need to give Google some clue, and you might want to do this down in the footer, like I serve the San Francisco Bay, I serve the San Francisco Bay area, but not exclusively. I also, and I also have clients in New York. Maybe put something in the footer that kind of gives a sense.
Okay.
You're in the Bay Area. You also, have New York ties. Something there that would help Google understand that you're kind of based in the Bay Area.
And that's a proper place to put it in the footer?
That would be one place that I would consider doing it, just because it's on every single page, and so it's just a stronger signal.
Okay.
So that would be where I would consider doing it.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
So that was kind of one of my first comments. Now you had mentioned family. I know you had mentioned, and when I looked at your previous site, there was definitely some pictures of kids, and that you like working with little kids. Is that still going to be a focus of yours, or are you transitioning away from that?
It's kind of a dual purpose. The kids and the families are my passion, but I think where my business is heading is working with women entrepreneurs, because I think I can make a bigger impact instead of just producing pretty pictures.
Okay, yeah, because you have this family portrait, so let's take a look at this. So this, of course, is not been built out yet.
Right.
One of the things that I was going to say, this is kind of the thought that occurred to me when I looked at your first site. Your first site, of course, had many beautiful images, but not much text.
Right.
And Google, it's gotten better at reading what images can be, but to Google and Googlebot and all the other search engines, it just looks like a block of binary text. So anything in text, unfortunately you're in WordPress, so all this is in text. I mean, of course, it's boilerplate placeholder, but it's in text, so that's good. So anything you can put in text to kind of help enhance the picture is great. And so, I'm sure you're going to pick some photos to go with, and pictures to go, and images to go with this page. Mm-hmm. But what I might consider doing is almost like tell a story, because I know with families, they're working with kids, they don't like to sit still. I certainly didn't. There's a picture of me with my family, me pulling my button, my bows on my dress. Right. So obviously they had a tough time getting me to sit still, and get my sister, who was even younger, to sit still. So I'd almost would love to see kind of like a little story, maybe 3 photographs with a story next to them about how you gain their trust. Because let's just say I'm a mom looking for someone to do these. I'll first see the beautiful pictures. That's great. That'll keep me on the page. But then the story will draw me in. Of like, oh yeah, she seems to really have a way with children. Oh, I really recognize my family and the stories she's telling. Oh, and maybe almost like a little bit of a case study. This photo we spent the day at the beach, and
so that's what the journal's going to be. That's the intended blog is supposed to be about. Every client that I work with, I'm going to showcase what the story enveloped from the shoot is.
Okay.
So this page is more about, this is what I do, and this is how I do it.
Okay.
Pictures on it.
And that's cool. I just don't be afraid to add a little bit of story into
Yeah.
it. It draws the person in, and I mean, if you have great stories, you can always link off to the blog,
Okay.
and here's what I do, and if you want to read a story, then go over here. So just give them because people will come here. Oh, is this the right person for me? They may not go and look at your blog. So
Right.
if you feel like the blog post is very engaging, then I would at least link to it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I covered local, and so the other thing to kind of where is yes, this. So this might be hard for you to see, but as I run my cursor over these various photographs, you can kind of see the name of the file. So,
Okay.
on a website, everything is a file, right? The page is a file, the image is a file. And so each one of these pics here is a file. And one thing and since you haven't gone live yet, one of the things that would be really awesome is if these files had more descriptive names. Like this one right here, it's BR4A396PP dash. You get
Where
what
does
I'm
that
saying.
come up? Can you actually see that on the page?
Well, if you, it depends on the browser. Like, don't use Internet Explorer, but use any of the other browsers. If you just run your mouse over the image, you'll see it down at the very bottom of the browser. It's probably hard for you to see it on the Hangout, but like I'm highlighting the woman second from the left, and at the very bottom of the browser, I can see the actual file name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in Safari. I can't see that, but
I'm in Safari as well. It's down at the bottom.
I definitely
Way down at the bottom, like before.
I believe you.
Okay.
Okay, that's something I will fix. Thank
The
you.
other thing is that some of your images, there's these tags called alt tags, and they're in the source code, but they are not visible on the page. And this is your opportunity to add keywords, a descriptive, a couple of like a sentence or a couple of words for each of the pictures. Like this one, you could have this one. I'm kind of looking at here. It seems like it has a little spider, or there's a little. I don't know. Maybe let's make it bigger.
The flower.
It's a flower. Oh, never mind. Okay, now that I looked at it, you could even put girl, beautiful girl with flower, and you just want to add some description into these alt tags. And you can work with your developer and just ask him, do all my images have alt tags? And he or she might come back to you and say, well, I need you to provide that to me, and that's okay, that's cool. So the two things I would suggest is try to have the actual names of the files of the images as descriptive as possible, and for each one to have alt tags. And there is a plugin called SEO Friendly Images that he can install on your site. So when you add new things, new pictures, like especially in your blogs posts, it will kind of take, if you've named the file appropriately, it'll like take the name of the file and just default the alt tags and the different tags to it. And that way you don't have to think about it too much. It's kind of just sort of built in. So as long as you name the file like a nice descriptive name, and use dashes, don't use spaces, it'll just take that as a default and kind of populate the tags for you. So you could ask the developer to install that plugin for you, and that would maybe help you out, and you don't have to worry about this stuff so much.
Bonus.
Okay. So that is probably the main three things that I would, there's probably one more thing I should probably take a look at. Family portraits. With your blog, which you have under journal, generally you want them to be in a category rather than uncategorized, but I'm assuming that's something you'll fix.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
Yep, that's okay. Yeah, this picture does not have an alt tag.
So within WordPress, if these pictures are already in my website, how do I add the alt tags?
It depends on the version of WordPress, but you should be able to go to the media library.
Okay.
And add them there. So you click on the picture, and there should be some fields there you can fill in.
Okay.
The other thing to think about is, and again, this might be a little hard for you to see. Do you see at the very top of your browser when it has, like I'm on the Moments page. I have Moments, and then there's a Candace Smith photography.
Mm-hmm.
This is a title tag. And your developer has actually installed a plugin called WordPress by Yoast.
Yeah.
So this is something you can change. It'll
Okay.
be a panel just below the main panel, and he calls it something like SEO title and SEO description. And this title tag and the description is what shows up when you search in Google. This is going to be, let's see if this, I mean, this will kind of pull up your old site since your site's not live yet.
Okay.
I'll kind of give you I just want to give you a description of what I'm talking about. And this is your old site, and you can kind of see that Google didn't come up with very good descriptions of these. That's because your old site is just not SEO friendly at all. You're going to have a better time with it of your new site. But you can see this is this right here, this Pretty Pictures - Candace Smith Photography.
Mm-hmm.
That's taken from that SEO title panel that you have in each blog post. It also should be there for your pages. And then there's also a description, and that's where this comes from. So one thing, and this is something you can kind of work on over time. I mean, with about Candace, you could have your full name. Here it says about Candace. Well, your full name is there. The title tag's probably okay, but I think you want to make sure you have a pretty decent description. And you want about 160 characters of just, I am a photographer that works with when you did that intro, that was perfect. That's what should be in the description.
Okay.
You said the two things you kind of do, it was really clear, I got it right away. And so, like, for your home page and for your about page, that kind of description would be great to have.
Okay.
And when you go to like family, let's see, where was the family portraits? Offerings. Oh, it's under offerings. I don't know. A title tag. You could probably enhance that title tag. I'm not sure what it would be. This is kind of when you start doing some keyword research and kind of figure out how people are searching for us. For you, it could be family and kid photographer. I don't know, but just know that this is something that can be enhanced. The title tag and the description. You have the plugin installed that allows you to customize that, and the more you just want to think about it as like almost like a welcome mat to your page. So Google will show that, and almost, this is really cheesy, but get your family portraits today at. I know that's really cheesy. So you kind of get you almost want it to be a little bit of an ad.
Okay.
Where it entices them to click through. Like maybe on the visual branding one. I haven't looked at this page yet. It's like I would maybe change this visual branding for entrepreneurs or women entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Get your visual brand handled for your business right now. I mean, again, cheesy, but you get my point.
Yep.
So it's almost like you're writing a little bit of a pitch for each page. It'll show up. It's like you're writing a little ad, and those are the two fields to do it in. It's in the SEO title and the SEO description. It's in the panel just below the main panel, and you already have that set up on your website because your developer is smart.
Yoast?
Yes, it's called Yoast.
Okay.
WordPress SEO by Yoast. So your developer was smart and has already installed that, so you're all set. You just need to do the work on ready. And you might find that some of these pages it's hard to do it. Don't worry about it. Just come back and do it later. Just work through them as you have time.
Okay.
Okay. So that was, and so I think we wanted to just chat briefly about the challenges of blogging.
Yes.
And I know that Gina has some really great, she's worked with a lot of clients with setting their blogs up and helping them kind of get going. So, Gina, you mentioned there was this really good plugin that Candace could use.
Yes, Candace. So if you want to plan your blog posts out in advance, say you have some photo shoots with families or even entrepreneurs, you can have their story and write those out in advance and then just schedule them out with a plugin that's free, which is called Editorial Calendar. And so you can just ask your web developer to say, could you install Editorial Calendar? And then you can say, well, every Friday or every other Friday or maybe once a month, I want to highlight a story. And then it makes you look like you blog consistently, which is really, as business owners, it's the hardest thing. Because you don't directly see your revenues increase from blog posts, but it does build up trust, and the better you tell that story, the better it sells your photos. And so, I would encourage using Editorial Calendar, and it's absolutely free. So I love that. So is Yoast, the Yoast plugin.
So another kind of similar question: if I wanted to share my blog post with like a newsletter format or something, is there some kind of integrated system to do that?
Yeah, if you're wanting to build an email list of consistent followers, and especially with the entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs are used to seeing, either email newsletters or even sometimes pitches with discounts and offers and things like that. So maybe you wanted to have a sale at the next holiday that comes up. And so you could use any of the autoresponders, which automates that for you. So you can send automated broadcasts out, and that's a little bit easier than kind of just going through your Gmail list and coming up with a distribution list of like all your regular clients, which that will work too. It's just not quite as spam friendly, I guess, as the anti-spam, I would say. As using something like yeah. So there's different companies out there that do that. AWeber is one that I use. I really like that one. You basically just grab code from a form, and sometimes you just give something free, like it could be tips on a beautiful photo session or something like that. Something easy and evergreen that you don't have to keep on reworking. And then once they sign up for that, they're on your newsletter, they opt in, and you can just send them blasts. So there's kind of two different ways to either just have them follow your blog, which is a little bit harder to contact them because it's not going, it'll go directly to their email, but maybe not have quite the impact of a autoresponder. So AWeber, MailChimp is another. There's a bunch of autoresponders out there.
Okay.
Yeah, the three to take a look at. AWeber, Gina and I really like AWeber. I think the thing about AWeber is I think it's a little more geeky. So I know that a lot of small business owners use MailChimp because it's free up to a certain point, where AWeber you start paying money originally. So a lot of people start with MailChimp. You have to be a little careful with MailChimp because it can be, if you get too commercial, they can kind of clamp down. So you have to kind of think about that. So, but a lot of people use MailChimp, and you can do it, and they're free up to a certain subscriber level. So it might be a really good one if you're kind of tight on budget. AWeber, of course, it has that wonderful automatic blog broadcast. So you could write a blog post, and then you can set it up so it goes out every Monday. So that's really a nice feature. I used that for many years, and I just write a blog post the week before, and then Monday would just automatically go out to my list. So that's a really nice feature, and I don't know if MailChimp has that. The other one that's a lot of people use is Constant Contact.
Right.
I don't really use that one. They do a really good job of marketing themselves, so a lot of people do have them. And I think it is a little more user-friendly. I think AWeber, the templates can be a little daunting. But if I were you, you might want to start with MailChimp and see how you go.
Okay.
Unless you're ready to invest in. They're not that expensive. They go up. The more subscriber you have, the more you pay.
Sure.
So it's like $20 a month or something like that. But then it can be like hundreds if you have a large list. But yeah, absolutely, especially for your entrepreneurs. Some kind of freebie for them, some kind of free offer would be something to think about, because they're used to it, and they may stop at your site and then move on really quickly. But if you offer them something useful that's free, you'll get them on your email list, and then you can then have them as a target audience for any kind of offers you might want to make.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got tons.
Well, let's do at least one more.
Okay. Well, since you're looking at the whole site and it's still in the process of being launched, I'd like to get some critique on how the images are presented, since that's what I do. And I'm not satisfied with the gallery layout, so I just want to see if you know of any other options of presentation of my work.
Okay, and what page should I kind of take a look at?
Either the moments or the portraits, where the pictures are.
Oh, because we have this going on. I know that I don't know what he's using for a plugin. I'm sorry, I assumed your developer is a he. It could be a she.
It's a she, but that's fine.
Yeah. Image gallery is the one everybody knows and loves.
Okay. Yeah, because I noticed specifically on the moments page, whatever this one is slow. So there's like a little spinny wheel. So it doesn't load the images quickly, and you can't see any of them besides the one that's showcased.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I kind of liked. What was the one where? Was it this one? Kind of like this presentation better.
On the portraits page?
Yeah.
But is that good enough? I still feel like something's missing. Like it's not grand enough.
Well, there's always the whole conversation about protecting your pictures by watermarking them. That's a whole other conversation. Well, of course, as an SEO, and my main thing is there's no text on this page to sort of accompany it.
Noted. That's true.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
what kind of?
I want to like how if I were to hire you for a portrait, I would like to kind of know what's involved with that.
And that's what the offerings page is for. So should I just blend that and have the offering, like what I actually do and what's included on the portraits?
Well, I would have some kind of text on here. I mean, remember, people may land on an individual page and only look at one page and then leave. So, there's no call to action on this page. That's one thing to think about is, sure, you have the inquire up here in the corner, but I'd probably want a stronger call to action.
Okay. Sorry about the little dog.
That's okay. I'd probably want some kind of call to action, like, do you have a free consultation, but also just why I should hire you. I mean, maybe sort of supporting story to go along with these pictures. I feel like I'm answering your question, but I don't know if I'm necessarily. I'm not a straight-on developer, so I'm not sure. What I would do is kind of just spend some time looking at other sites and find one that really does what you think is best, and then take it to your developer and go, I want something like this.
Okay.
Because that's always what I do. I just go and sort of look at all these different sites, and I'm like, ooh, I like that design. I like how that's laid out, or I like how they did the photography treatment. And so I would just find examples
Okay.
What's and you know, I mean, you may not know exactly what you want, but at least if you're looking at all these different kind of sites, you can kind of start refining in your mind what you really want. Like, yeah, well, I like that. Okay, why do you like that? Oh, because
Right.
it does this. And you may not exactly copy them, but at least you have some, you're going to be able to articulate what you're looking for.
So what kind of call to action should I have on, should it be on every page?
I would consider putting it on every page.
Okay. Any suggestions as to what?
You know, up here at the header, you could maybe move the header a little bit to the left and put a call to action next to it.
What, can you be more specific about the call to action?
Well, I'm not a photographer, so I'm kind of not sure what exactly I'd put there, but I would imagine your desired action is to have your clients pick up the phone and call you.
Okay.
Is that your desired action?
Yes.
So I'd almost even put a phone number up here.
Okay.
You know, Candace Smith Photography, and then put the phone number over on the right-hand side.
Easy enough. All right.
Yeah, you know, and then it's not, you know, too glaring or too commercial. You can do it in kind of the same style as this photography.
Right. Okay.
And it's really clear, and then it's on every page. And you know, you can kind of focus more on kind of the engaging content, like on this page. You know, write something about how your approach to taking portraits is great, and how you're going to make me look beautiful, and all that stuff, and you know, some kind of engaging content that makes me feel, I don't know, like I want to pick up the phone and call you. I'd even put the phone number down at the bottom in the footer as well.
Repeat that?
I'd even put the phone number down in the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, either that or a link to the Inquire content. I know it kind of does this thing where it adds that, but I'm just not sure. Yeah, I'd put the phone number in the header. In the footer, you know, since you have this Inquire thing, you might not need it. Although you have room, so why not?
Okay.
This is the thing about websites. You know, we say, oh, we put it in one place, and that's where everybody's going to look for it. But you know, a lot of people, they just don't look at the header, or they just look. You know what I mean? It's almost like you know, it's like marketing in general. You have to kind of touch them several times for them to take action. So if you put the phone number in a couple places, if that's your desired action, then you know, that's what I would do. Make it easy for them to call you. Don't make it like, okay, so how do I call this person? How do I book an appointment? You know, and this Acquire is kind of nice and sophisticated, but a lot of people might sort of look. I mean, for me, I kind of stumble because I'm looking for a contact.
Okay.
And you can leave the Inquire there, but I would reinforce it with the phone number in other places.
Okay.
Yeah, and Candace, you know, depending on how busy you are, you could also use something like Calendly, which works with Gmail, so that people can just sign up for free and talk to you for an hour, even 15 minutes, depending on how crazy your schedule is and how many clients you have. But you can, you know, pre-schedule with that. I think there's Time Trade. There's a bunch of other schedulers out that you could, you know, if you just don't want them plain calling you and then having to manage, you know, answering the voicemails. Sometimes that's good too. I like to put that on my products list or page or something like a link, and then I'll just email people if they ask, and they can just, you know, sign up for an available time with you.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah, it's all kind of personal preference, but yeah, as Gina mentioned, there are a bunch of like you could just.
Yeah, I think some schedule app would be a smart idea for me.
Yeah, there's a bunch. I'm using Time Trade. It's not my favorite, but I think I'm going to sign up and use it. But there's a whole bunch out there.
Yeah, I've heard Acuity is better.
Yeah, you could. I know a couple people who use Acuity. There's meetme.so, I think. There's a bunch of them, and you know, I'm going to try one for a while, and I kind of already invested in the time trade because it's already
Gotcha.
have all these stuff set up, and
Yep.
I'm kind of lazy and don't want to move. But yeah, there probably are better ones. I just had to, you just at some point you just have to do it, right? And
Right. Yeah.
figure it out later.
Make what's best.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all the
Oh,
help.
well, I hope this was useful.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, well, thank you very much for making the time. And this has been another WebSugar event. Gina, you want to talk about your book?
Yes, Kathy, Alice, and I have a best-selling book out, and it's 99 cents. It's an ebook, and it's on Amazon. It's 21 Essential SEO Tips. So I have been taking notes, so you don't have to during this session, and you can just shoot off those notes to your developer, and then we'll also send you the link to our book. So
Awesome. Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, again, thanks a lot. Happy Monday, and I know I'll see you again. So have a good one, and here's to having lots of clients.
Awesome. Thank you. Nice
Thank
to meet
thank
you.
you.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.